There's a reason some men walk into a room and every woman feels it. Not because of how they look or what they say, but because of something deeper, an energy, a calm that commands attention without ever demanding it. You can't quite describe it, but you feel it. That's silent power. Most men think attraction comes from words, confidence, or charm. But what truly draws women in, what they can't resist or forget, is presence. That unshakable calm that says, "I know who I am." When a man embodies that, he doesn't need to prove, persuade, or perform. His silence does the talking. His restraint does the work. His energy fills the space long after he's gone. Women can't ignore that energy because it touches something primal inside them. It's the contrast between noise and focus, between desperation and direction. The world is full of men trying to be noticed, posting, performing, chasing attention, but very few who can sit in silence and still be felt. The man with silent power isn't competing. He's centered. He doesn't rush to speak. He waits to be heard. And that patience drives curiosity. Who is he? Why does he feel so calm? This energy doesn't come from arrogance or mystery. It comes from discipline. It's born from the man who's fought his emotions and mastered them. The one who has walked through pain and no longer needs to prove he's healed. His eyes carry stories he doesn't tell, and that's why she can't look away. You see, the loud man gets attention, but the silent man gets respect. He's the one she remembers when the party ends, the one her mind returns to when chaos quiets down. Because his silence isn't emptiness, it's gravity. Every woman feels it, even if she can't explain why. This kind of power can't be faked. It's not about pretending to be cold or distant. It's about peace, real, earned, hard-won peace. The kind that comes from discipline, from knowing your worth, from refusing to be moved by temporary emotions. That calm confidence becomes your aura. And once you develop it, everything about you changes. The way you walk, speak, breathe. Women sense it instantly. So understand this. When a man learns how to control his energy, he becomes unforgettable. Because women can ignore words, but they can't ignore presence. The man with silent power doesn't chase, doesn't seek, doesn't prove. He simply is. And that stillness, that quiet certainty, is the loudest thing in the room. Before we start, a quick reminder. The real transformation doesn't happen on YouTube. It happens inside the community. If these videos have opened your eyes, what's inside will rebuild your mindset completely. It's not just a course. It's a brotherhood. A private space where men master attraction, emotional control, and the psychology of power. You don't join for a month. You join for life. Every future course, book and lesson is yours forever. No subscriptions, no limits. Just one decision that changes your direction. If you're serious about growth, discipline, and purpose, click the link below. Join the community. Enroll once. Grow forever. Let's dive in. Section 1. The real meaning of silent power. What it truly is. Silent power isn't about being emotionless or detached from life. It's about mastery. It's the quiet authority that comes from knowing yourself so deeply that nothing outside of you can shake your center. Most men misunderstand it. They think it means acting cold, distant, or mysterious. But true silent power doesn't come from pretending. It comes from presence. It's when your emotions serve you, not rule you. You see, the loud man seeks control through force. He wants to be heard, to be seen, to dominate attention. But the man with silent power doesn't need validation. His energy already fills the room. He's aware of his emotions, but they no longer dictate his behavior. His silence isn't passive, it's poised. Every movement, every glance, every word he chooses carries intention. That's why women can feel it. Silent power communicates stability, and stability is rare. In a world where most men react instantly, he pauses. Where others talk too much, he listens. Where most get defensive, he observes. That calm is magnetic because it signals control. It says, I am in charge of myself. And that's the kind of energy women instinctively trust and crave. This power is born in solitude. It grows when you stop running from discomfort, when you face your own mind and come out stronger. Silent men are forged in silence, through pain, discipline, heartbreak, and reflection. Every trial becomes a sharpening stone. Every disappointment teaches emotional balance. And through that process, he learns something that changes his energy forever. Peace is louder than chaos. The truth is, silent power has nothing to do with what you show, and everything to do with what you no longer need to prove. It's the quiet confidence of a man who has already seen loss, rejection, and betrayal, and no longer fears them. He's done performing for love. He's done begging for attention. He's done explaining his worth. That peace gives him presence. When you walk into a room with this energy, people feel it before you speak. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. It's that subtle but undeniable vibration of a man who's in control of his emotions, focused on his direction, and detached from chaos. And women can't ignore that, because every woman's feminine energy naturally seeks to be grounded by a man's stillness. Silent power isn't loud, but it echoes. It doesn't announce itself. It's felt. And once you carry that kind of peace, you no longer chase attention. Attention starts chasing you. Section 2. Why women are instantly drawn to calm, controlled energy. A woman may not understand it logically, but she feels it. The moment she's around a man whose energy is calm, measured, and centered, her body relaxes. Her guard drops. Her curiosity awakens. Because on a biological level, her instinct tells her, this man is safe, certain, and in control. You see, feminine energy is emotional, expressive, and constantly in motion. It's chaotic by nature, beautiful, but unpredictable. That's why the feminine is drawn to the masculine that brings stability, not dominance, not aggression. Stability, the kind of energy that doesn't flinch when emotions rise, the kind that can absorb her storms without drowning in them. When a woman meets a man who carries this energy, something inside her shifts. She feels anchored, even if she can't explain why. His calm presence contrasts with everything she's used to. Men who chase, overreact, try to impress, or seek validation. But this man doesn't do any of that. He listens. He observes. He speaks only when it's needed. And every word he says feels intentional, grounded, and steady. That calm confidence becomes an emotional trigger. Because while her world may be loud, his silence feels like peace. His restraint feels like strength. His presence feels like safety. And deep down, that's what every woman truly desires. Not a man who overwhelms her, but one who steadies her. What most men don't realize is that women test emotional strength instinctively. They raise their voice, pull back, or create tension just to see if you'll break your calm. Not because they want conflict, but because they want to feel your center. They want to know if your energy can handle theirs. And the man who stays composed, who doesn't chase control but radiates it, becomes unforgettable. This calm control doesn't come from pretending not to care. It comes from inner peace, from knowing that nothing external defines your worth. The man who has silent power isn't emotionally unavailable. He's emotionally disciplined. He can feel deeply without losing himself in those feelings. That balance is rare, and rarity always attracts. A woman can ignore charm. She can dismiss words, but she cannot ignore presence. That's why the calm, grounded man becomes magnetic, not through effort, but through vibration. His stillness speaks louder than noise. His control inspires trust. And his composure, in a world full of overstimulation, feels like home. So remember, women don't fall for the loudest man in the room. They fall for the one who makes silence feel safe. Section 3. How silent power is built. The inner discipline behind it. Silent power isn't something you fake. It's something you forge. It's born from the quiet battles no one sees. From the mornings you wake up with chaos in your mind, but still choose peace. From the nights you feel broken, but refuse to beg for comfort. Every moment you choose restraint over reaction, discipline over desire, purpose over pleasure. That's when silent power is built. The reason most men never develop this energy is simple. They avoid discomfort. They search for shortcuts, validation, and constant distraction. But the man who wants to radiate calm must walk through fire. He must face himself, his anger, his impatience, his fear, and learn to master them. Because silent power isn't the absence of emotion. It's the command of it. It starts internally. You begin to notice your impulses, the urge to argue, to prove, to impress, to react. You pause instead of rushing. You breathe before you speak. You listen more than you answer. Over time, that discipline creates stillness. It rewires your nervous system. Your heart beats slower under pressure. Your eyes remain calm during chaos. And that calm becomes your weapon, not to fight others, but to protect your energy. The man who trains his emotions becomes untouchable. You can take his money, his job, even his relationship. But you can't take his peace, because peace built on discipline can't be shaken by loss. That's what makes him powerful. His silence isn't passive. It's earned. Every moment of composure is a muscle he built through repetition. This kind of power also demands solitude. You cannot find yourself in noise. You find yourself in stillness, when the phone is off, when the world goes quiet, when all you have left is your thoughts. That's where you face your truth. That's where you realize that control doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means channeling it into strength. The man with silent power doesn't explode. He transforms. Anger becomes focus. Pain becomes depth. Rejection becomes clarity. Every emotion turns into energy he refines and redirects. And that's why people feel his presence differently, because his peace has been tested. You see, anyone can act calm when life is easy. But the man who remains centered when everything collapses, that's the man women can't ignore. His silence doesn't come from emptiness. It comes from mastery. It's the sound of a soul that's seen chaos and decided to remain still. Silent power isn't found in words. It's found in the discipline to say nothing and still command the room. Section 4. The psychological effect silent men have on women. When a man carries true silence, not the kind born from insecurity, but the kind born from certainty, it does something powerful to a woman's mind. It disrupts her emotional rhythm. It makes her overthink. It creates mystery, tension, and desire all at once. Because silence in a world addicted to attention feels like power, and women feel it instantly. You see, women are emotional communicators. They use words, tone, and attention to gauge where they stand. They read your reactions, your expressions, your energy. But when you're calm, grounded, unreadable, it shakes that system. She can't predict you anymore. She can't map your feelings or control your attention. That uncertainty triggers her curiosity. And curiosity is the first step toward obsession. A silent man becomes the center of her mental gravity without saying a word. When she doesn't know what you're thinking, she starts imagining it. When she can't read your emotions, she starts feeling them. That's the paradox. The less you show, the more she feels. Because your stillness forces her emotions to fill the space your words used to occupy. But here's what most men get wrong. Silence doesn't mean ignoring her. It means controlling the pace. You still engage, but on your terms, measured, deliberate, intentional. Your energy says, I'm here because I choose to be, not because I need to be. That distinction changes everything. Because once she senses that, her attraction shifts from comfort to challenge. You become a mystery wrapped in calm confidence. A man she can't quite figure out. That's the psychological hook. She begins replaying interactions with you in her head. Every glance, every pause, every small response becomes a clue she tries to decode. You occupy her thoughts not by chasing attention, but by removing predictability. And the more she thinks about you, the deeper her emotional attachment becomes, even if she doesn't admit it. Silent power amplifies tension. It creates contrast. Her emotional chaos against your calm composure. And that contrast awakens her feminine energy. She starts softening around you, lowering her tone, mirroring your pace. Her energy begins to sync with yours. You don't force attraction. Your stillness draws it in naturally. The truth is, women crave emotional safety, but they're addicted to emotional tension. The man with silent power provides both. He's peaceful enough to feel safe, but mysterious enough to remain exciting. That's why silence works. It gives her mind something to chase, while giving her heart somewhere to rest. So when you master stillness, you don't need to impress her with words. You let her imagination do the work. Because silence isn't the absence of communication. It's the highest form of it. And once she feels that tension, she can't unfeel it. Section 5. How silent power commands respect without force. Respect isn't taken, it's earned, not through dominance, but through consistency. And that's exactly what silent power creates. The man who moves with calm confidence doesn't demand respect, he embodies it. People, especially women, can sense the difference immediately. They feel that you're not performing to impress anyone. You're simply aligned with yourself. When you speak less and move with purpose, your actions start to speak louder than your words. Every gesture, every look, every pause carries meaning. You don't raise your voice to be heard because your presence already commands the space. That's the essence of authority. Not loudness, but gravity. A man who has silent power doesn't need to remind anyone who he is. He simply shows it through discipline, through his calm under pressure, through the way he handles disrespect, not by exploding, but by staying grounded. That's what shocks people. In a world where everyone reacts instantly, the man who remains calm is unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds respect. Women feel it first. They realize that they can't provoke or manipulate your emotions because you've detached from that need to control the narrative. You don't fight to prove yourself. You let time reveal who you are. That's when she starts to admire you, not because you're untouchable, but because you're stable. And stability, to a woman, is power. Men with silent power don't seek validation because they live by principles. They have boundaries that don't need explanation. They walk away when something doesn't align with their peace. They know when to speak, and more importantly, when to stay silent. That control doesn't just earn respect, it commands it. When you stop over-explaining, people start observing. When you stop chasing attention, attention starts chasing you. Because now your energy carries weight. It tells the world, I am enough, with or without approval. That's the kind of power that shifts dynamics in every area of life, relationships, work, even social presence. The truth is, respect isn't about dominance, it's about discipline. It's about staying unmoved when others expect you to react. It's about not lowering your standards to be understood. Silent power doesn't scream, it whispers, and everyone listens. Because when you carry calm certainty, people subconsciously adjust around you. They slow their tone, choose their words more carefully, and treat you differently. Not because you forced it, but because your energy demands it. That's how silent power works. It doesn't fight for control. It becomes control. Section 6. The difference between being silent and being weak. Silence can either be your greatest strength or your biggest mistake. It depends on why you choose it. Weak men use silence to hide. Strong men use silence to lead. The difference lies in intention. Weak silence is fear. Powerful silence is control. When a man stays silent out of insecurity, his energy feels heavy, uncertain, hesitant, avoidant. He doesn't speak because he's afraid of conflict, rejection, or being misunderstood. That kind of silence doesn't attract. It repels. It communicates confusion, not confidence. Women can sense it instantly. They feel the lack of foundation beneath your calm. It's not stillness, it's stagnation. But the man with silent power is different. His silence is active. He chooses it consciously. He doesn't withdraw because he's scared. He pauses because he's focused. He doesn't need to win every argument. He needs to protect his peace. That energy feels different. It's composed, not cowardly. It communicates certainty, not avoidance. You see, silence used from fear creates distance, but silence used from mastery creates gravity. One pushes people away, the other pulls them closer. That's why intent is everything. Women are intuitive. They can tell when your stillness comes from insecurity or from strength. And the moment they sense that your silence is rooted in control, their respect deepens. Being silent doesn't mean being passive. It means knowing when words add value and when they drain power. The weak man tries to fill every silence with explanation, seeking to be understood. The strong man understands that truth doesn't need defense. His calm becomes his language. His behavior becomes his argument. His restraint becomes his reputation. The man who embodies this level of maturity no longer fears discomfort. He can sit in tension without rushing to resolve it. He can listen to criticism without becoming defensive. He can walk away from disrespect without needing to make a scene. That's the essence of power, restraint. Because real power never announces itself. It simply endures. And this is where most men fail. They confuse indifference with control. They think acting cold or distant will make them seem powerful. But power isn't found in pretending not to care. It's found in caring selectively. You feel everything, but you respond to almost nothing. Weak silence runs from emotion. Powerful silence masters it. That's the line that separates boys from men and noise from authority. Because when your silence carries intention, it no longer feels like withdrawal. It feels like command. And in that quiet command, everyone listens. Section 7. How to develop silent power and make it your identity. Silent power isn't a performance, it's a lifestyle. You don't turn it on when you want to look confident. You live it until confidence becomes your natural state. It's not about becoming emotionless or robotic. It's about training your emotions to serve you instead of sabotage you. That's what separates average men from rare men: discipline. To develop this kind of presence, you must start where most men refuse to, inside yourself. You begin by mastering 3 things: your reactions, your focus, and your energy. Every time you feel triggered, pause. Every time you want to argue, breathe. Every time you want to prove your worth, remember, your peace is proof enough. That's how calm becomes your default. Your daily habits shape your presence more than you realize. The way you wake up, how you carry yourself, how you handle silence. These moments build or break your energy. Meditate. Read, train your body. Practice being comfortable alone. Because solitude is where your energy refines itself. The more time you spend in quiet self-discipline, the less the world can shake you. Stop oversharing your goals. Stop explaining your worth. Speak less about what you'll do and let results make the noise. The fewer people who know your plan, the stronger your energy becomes. Silence doesn't just protect your peace. It multiplies your power. When you start living this way, your presence begins to shift. You walk slower. You speak with intention. Your eyes hold focus instead of insecurity. You don't seek attention anymore. It naturally finds you. People won't be able to explain why they feel drawn to your energy, but they will feel it. That's the mark of a man with silent power. He's felt before he's understood. Women, especially, will sense it. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because your calm creates emotional contrast. In a world of overstimulation and chaos, your peace becomes rare. And what's rare becomes desired. To make silent power your identity, remember this rule: control the controllable. You can't control her feelings, people's opinions, or life's uncertainty, but you can control your tone, your posture, your response, your focus. And when you master those small details, the world begins to respond differently to you. The real transformation happens when silence is no longer something you practice. It's something you are. When peace becomes your natural energy. When people feel your presence before they hear your voice. That's when you've become the man women can't ignore. Not because you're loud, not because you're trying, but because your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. In the end, it's never the loud man who leaves the deepest impression. It's the quiet one, the one who doesn't compete, the one who doesn't rush, the one who walks with the kind of calm that makes the room slow down. Because true power was never about how much attention you get. It's about how little attention you need. It's about walking away from noise and realizing your silence is louder. The world may misunderstand you. They'll mistake your calm for weakness, your stillness for indifference, your distance for pride. Let them. Because while they're busy talking, you're busy building. You see, silent power isn't about control. It's about alignment. It's the energy of a man who's not moved by temptation, validation, or chaos. The man who doesn't chase because he knows he attracts. The man who doesn't argue because truth doesn't beg to be understood. That's why women can't ignore men like this. Because in a world where every man is trying to be seen, he stands apart simply by being. His silence speaks. His eyes hold stories. His energy tells the truth. Every woman feels it, that quiet authority, that steady rhythm that says, I'm not here to impress, I'm here to exist. And once she feels it, she can't unfeel it. Because peace, in its rarest form, is magnetic. So stop trying to prove your worth. Stop trying to be heard in a world that fears silence. Be the calm that others crave. Be the stillness in the storm. Because the man who can stay silent when the world screams, that's the man no one can forget. Remember, knowledge means nothing without action. If you're ready to rise above emotion and lead with purpose, join the community today at thestoiccouple.podia.com. Enroll once, grow forever.